material. I guess the last thing I'll say is just that part 3 of this video is pretty math intensive. For those of you who are allergic to math, you're going to want to take your time with it, and I hope that you will still want to watch it and pick up the things that are valuable from it. And I'm going to do my best to sort of translate math speak into sort of into the language that will be comfortable for people who don't like math. But there is quite a bit of it in here, and for those who are sort of already very familiar with poker math, it will probably be an easier video to follow than for those who aren't. That said, I hope it's useful for everybody. I'm going to try to sort of speak with both target audiences in mind. All right. Let's get to the basic sort of introduction to what combinatorics is. As it says here on this this first slide, combinatorics is the branch of mathematics used to count the number of ways to choose a specified subset of a discrete set of objects. In this case, a deck of cards. Discrete is just sort of discrete as compared with continuous. In other words, if you look at the real numbers from 0 to 100 or whatever, including 2.55 and all the decimals and fractions and everything, that's a continuous list of numbers. Discrete set of numbers is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, a specific finite set. The technical terms are a little more complicated than that. For our purposes, that's fine. Anyway, we're looking at a 52 card deck as the main baseline deck that we want to ask questions about. And we have a general formula that allows us to basically to choose, regardless of what discrete set of objects we're talking about, and regardless of the number of the subset that we want to choose from it. This is a basic mathematical formula that lets us to know just how many total combinations of what we're asking about exist. And so for our purposes, the example that's given here, I'll talk about the formula in a second, but first I'll just say the formula tells you, as you can see here, that 52 choose 4 equals 270,725. What does that mean? That means that if I take a 52 card deck and randomly deal out 4 cards, I'm going to get 4 specific cards: King of Diamonds, Queen of Spades, Jack of Clubs, 2 of Hearts, whatever. There are a total of 270,725, or just over a 250,000 ways to choose those 4 specific cards. Some of those hands are going to be effectively equivalent to each other. There's a bunch of different ways to be dealt: King, Queen, Jack, 2, Rainbow. We'll talk about how many in a few minutes. And clearly, they are all, for our purposes, effectively the same hand. Pre-flop, if you're looking at 2 different versions of double-suited King, Queen, Jack, 10, it doesn't really matter if it's hearts and diamonds or hearts and spades or whatever. Obviously, once you get to a flop and you have 2 hearts on board, then clearly it matters if you have the double-suited hand that flopped the flush draw and the one that didn't or whatever. But if you're just looking at starting hand possibilities, you can and we will sort of narrow down these 270,000 into a smaller number of effectively distinct possibilities.